Okay, now it's time to go ahead and prepare former F2 to be installed onto the airplane. So what you're going to do is take your square 1x1 doubler that you made for the little square that you drew on your template, where your template was. As you can see right here, this is what you're going to do. So glue this doubler right onto your F2. Mine sits a little bit lower because I have a wing for this plane already that I use on my triplane, so my dowel is lower, so I need to make my dowel hole lower on the actual template of this airplane. But you're just going to go right by the plan sheet. That's no problem at all. So go right ahead and glue your template down right where your square is on your plan sheet, just like you drew it out on your F2 former, and then drill your 1/4-inch hole right in the middle. If you want to start with a small bit like a 3/32 or a 1/8 drill bit, go ahead and start the hole with that and then finish it out with whatever size dowel you have. If you have a 3/16-inch dowel that you're going to use to hold the wing on, then use a 3/16-inch bit to put on the or to drill through. So that's basically it. Okay, now remember on your F4 piece, you're going to want to glue your doublers on the back and do that, glue your F2 square and then glue your doublers. So now for your speed control, depending on what you have, most of them are probably going to come up against the right side of the firewall. It would be, if you're looking at the face of it, this part up in here. I'm going to drill a little hole for whatever control rod you're going to use to activate or to run your throttle control on your engine. So if you're using a gas motor, then you need to figure out where that's going to be on your firewall, and it's good to right now try and just drill a little hole somewhere up in this corner. Because the corner is sliced, you probably could just run your line right down through it, depending on what you're going to use on top to hold your pop hatch on is going to come down that way. But I'm going to drill a hole there anyway, just to have one just in case I need to put a hole there for my control rod to come through, because then that's going to travel back on your fuselage, and your control servo is going to be about here somewhere for your throttle. So if you're going to run a control tube for your antenna on your receiver, if you want your antenna to travel through the plane and come out the back of the plane somewhere underneath and not just have it dangling out the back or running up the side to the fin, you can do either or. I'm going to run a control tube through mine. So basically what you want to do is, for whatever size tube you're going to run your antenna wire through, you want to take your former F4 and you want to drill the size tube hole right there, and an F7 up in the right corner just before you get to where the notches are. I don't know if you can see a notch there or not. Just before you get to the notch up here, you want to drill another hole the same size as your tube. Then on your fuselage, when these parts are in, the control line is going to come right through F4, which is right here. So your control line is going to come through F4, or your tube. Then it's going to come through F7. And then I'm going to have it dump right out here on the back end. And then once we sheet the bottom, I'll cut the tube to fit. And then when you put your receiver in the airplane, you're just going to feed the antenna wire through, and it'll travel all the way up to the back, and you can do whatever you want to do to keep it there. It's just an easy way to get it to the back of the plane and not have it hanging outside the plane. But you want to use your full antenna all the time, so you're going to want to do something with it. That's just the way I'm going to do mine. Now when you're drilling out a hole in anything, you basically want to put that piece that you're going to drill flat on another piece that you can drill right into. That'll keep it back when you come blowing out the hole. That'll keep it from splintering through. Yeah, see, that was the template I was making for you guys, so you wouldn't get all confused. But I said you're not going to get confused. You guys know what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and drill my hole out. Just put it on something you can drill down into a little bit, so you won't blow out the bottom edges of it. It'll just come out nice and smooth that way. That's all. So I'm going to go ahead and drill the hole on my former, for my former F2 and my former F4, and I'll be back.